Hello and welcome to Motivation and Money with me, Mark Terrell, and my co-presenter, Fanny Snaith. Today,
Good afternoon all.
afternoon all. Today, we're going to be talking about energy because we think it's there's an energy around motivation. You could say motivation is all about energy, and there's also an energy around about money as well. So, it seemed like a natural progression from what we've been talking about up until this point. So, Fanny, introduce yourself. Tell us about where you
Yeah,
are and
hello.
what you do.
Hello, my name's Fanny. I am a certified money coach and I work very much with people and their energy around money. I've been working as a money coach now for about nearly 7 years, specialised with working with couples and working with individuals. And I also run courses. And in fact, I have a new a new cohort coming up of my money makeover course coming up very soon. So if anybody's interested to join that, just let me know. It's a 10-week course and it's to help you get motivated to manage your money well and to sort of not only teach you the practical skills but also to help you with the mindset around it, which basically is the energy of it, really, isn't it?
Fabulous. And
So
I'm
when we were talking, sorry,
I
Mark.
just say who I am, just in case. I'm Mark Terrell from the founder of Reluctant Leader Academy, the author of Motivated, the book, and I'm all about business coaching and leadership with an emphasis on motivation because ultimately, without motivation, nothing much happens, does it? I mean, it's the thing that drives us to take or to do something. So if we know what that is and what is our motive to do or to take action, then that gives us an idea of what is basically driving that forward. And also, we've also got to remember that it's not just about doing the things that motivate us. A business is about doing a whole lots of things, and some of those things might not be the things that motivate us, and that's quite often the Achilles heel that I come across with my clients. And I've got a course which is talk about energy. It's all about how to stay energized at work. And if you're interested in that, that's on my website. And if you are on, well, doesn't matter where you are, but if you use coupon code LinkedIn, you'll get 25% off that course. So that's us. There's
Coupon
our
code.
courses.
Oh, coupon code LinkedIn. Coupon code LinkedIn. I've never heard of that. Okay, coupon. So you
It's
just
why it
type
says
in.
coupon code, and then if you use
Oh,
LinkedIn as a
you type
coupon
in
code,
LinkedIn.
yeah,
Oh,
you
very
get
good.
a discount for that. So that's on my website, how to stay energized at work. Excellent. So now we've got all the interest out of the way. We've talked about energy. You've got
Yeah.
something to show us, haven't you? I don't know when you
Well,
want to
not yet.
introduce this. Hmm?
Not yet. Not yet.
No, okay. So
Let's
we're going to be
talk
talking
about.
about energy, how it shows up. Do you want to kick things off then, Fanny, around your thoughts about
Well, do you know,
energy?
I am gonna kick things off because I could. So what I can do is I can start off with the introduction in your book.
Ah,
So I'm
yes,
going to read
that's a
it,
good
right?
place to
So
start.
the first bit, page 13, unlucky for some, or lucky for some, says this book is all about energy. To manage our energy levels, we need to know what gives us energy and what saps our energy. Like fuel in the car, motivation is the energy we need to keep going, which needs to be topped up with the right type that's not going to evaporate overnight. And it's really interesting you say that because what I also failed to say is I'm a certified business archetype coach as well, which is like we talked last week about the money types, or there were also business archetypes. And one of the big questions in my coaching method with that is what gives you energy and what depletes your energy, what saps your energy. And it's so important. But whoever's listening to this, it's not just in business, it's in life, don't you
Yep,
think? Because our
sure.
energy levels, which start, I think, from almost the minute that we get up, um, really affect the rest of our day. Can I tell you a little story about what happened to me yesterday?
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was, but I woke up yesterday and I was like, absolutely, I felt like I was on the floor. So, first of all, we use a phrase here. We say, I'm feeling low, don't we? Which is energetically low. And then we also use the phrase energetically high. Feeling like, yeah, I'm on top of the world. Feeling like... Anyway, I woke up on the floor yesterday and I had a session with my coach first thing. And I sort of opened up to her and said, do you know what? No, I'm not okay, actually. No, I'm not okay. And we talked, and she said, do you know what? After this call, you need to go into the kitchen and put on some loud music and dance like there's nobody watching and all this kind of stuff. And so I did. I went into the kitchen and I put on, I don't know if you know the track, you know, Burning Down the House by Talking Heads?
Yeah, definitely.
What a track, right?
Yeah.
So I put it on really loud, and I did the old David Byrne, you know, shaking around. If people who don't know the Talking Heads, what he does this funny sort of dancing where he does this sort of thing and I literally shook my vibration. I shook my energy up to put me into a different state. And so whereas we can look at everything very sort of in our heads and very sort of like thinking about tasks and strategies and all of that kind of stuff, we are also extremely capable of changing our energy generally. I think. What do you think about that?
Well, it's the state change, isn't it? If we're in a state of low energy or low mood or whatever you want to call it, we have to firstly recognise it and then think about how I'm going to change it. And music is one that works for most people. But even sometimes I don't feel that even music does it for me. It's something that I just need to go out and get some fresh air or something like that, or just a different location just gives me different energy. So it's finding what's right for you. There's no right or wrong with this. It's just knowing. It's interesting what you said there. It's about finding the right type of music that does it for you. Some people want that real uplifting sort of burn down houses or whatever it be for you. But others might find actually what lifts them is actually something a bit more calm and sort of soothing. Who knows? But the thing is, you've got to find what's right for you, and it might not be the same thing every time.
No, I did this really interesting thing. I'm a member of there's a thing called by a lady called Joanna Martin. We should tag her in the post afterwards. Actually, Joanna Martin, and it's a thing for women called One of Many. There's a program there called Living the Change, and I signed up for that, and I love it. And there's a lady there called Susie Heath, and she does this sort of. I went to this day thing. They said go to Susie Heath's session. It's really good, and I sort of went, yeah, well, I've sort of paid for this conference. I might as well go along in my office. And Susie Heath comes on, and it's all this sort of like, you know, move away from there. And I'm standing there in my office feeling so embarrassed doing this thing, first of all. Literally in 10 minutes, I was bawling my eyes out because it's just shifting. It's just moving that energy.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one. But it's not tricky. It's something that I think only, you know, when you start getting into the personal development, or if you're into sport, I suppose, it can pass an awful lot of people by.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned Joanna Martin, isn't it? I went on one of the first speaker courses that I went on was with Joanna in London. It's like 3 days, I think, quite intense. But it got over my fear of speaking. Talking about energy as well, I listened to something. I missed it actually, but luckily they put it on a replay. A networking group I'm a member of on a Monday called Networking for Good. Actually, it's quite a quite uplifting group, and they had Pete. I think it's Pete McCann or Pete Can. He's called the Laughter Man. No,
I know he's the one who has the duck on his head.
Yeah, no, not Pete. Pete Can, I think he is. I'll have to find out his name. And he's the Laughter Man. So basically, he gives you techniques about trying to make you laugh just by doing things. That. So
I'm the queen of that.
Yeah, so check him out.
I can just laugh literally, I can start laughing and I can get the terrible giggles, and then I'm literally in guffaws, and I get the whole family laughing. My mum used to do it. She started it off, and you just start laughing, and it makes everybody laugh.
Yeah, like yes. So that's another way you can change your state and start laughing about something, and whatever that makes you laugh, then find it. And when I go to YouTube and see things on there that pop up, obviously the one thing about YouTube is you go regularly, that will give you similar stuff that you've watched before, so it will probably fit your normal sort of narrative. So yeah, that's it's just
so let's think about energy. So there might be some people watching this who are like thinking like, you know, it's like, and maybe they haven't really heard about energy work, or you know, we're not talking energy work, we're talking like proper just energy work, because we are all energy, aren't we? And if you just go to work every day, or in the office, you know, you might be sitting in the office now in your cubicle munching on your sandwich or something and just thinking, I've got a whole afternoon to go. I think it's worth spending some time and just thinking about your energy, because every single minute of every single day, you are energy.
Yeah.
We are all energy, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of this is very much about being aware. So I'm doing some work with one of my clients who, a few weeks ago, the thing that I heard was that they were all feeling a bit flat. So I said, and they said, well, can you come in and do a session with us? I said, well, I can't really just come in and do a session. That's not really going to be long-term productive. What I want you to do is you do a motivational map, and I'll do a debrief with each one of you. You'll find what gives you energy, and then you can put some things in place that will, you can start doing for yourself. And that's what we've been doing. And straight away, they suddenly realised, I didn't realise it was that important to me. But now you say, it's definitely, when I'm doing that, that makes me feel better. So it's about being aware.
When you sign up for your course, do you get a motivational map thing with it?
You do. Yeah.
I've signed up to your course, haven't I?
You have. You're going to get a motivational map once you get to that point, that special point where you ask for one.
Boom. I'm looking forward to that. So before we talked, so before we went on air, we were talking about energy and stuff, and I said that I was a big fan of the law of attraction with action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think many people have heard of the law of attraction, and they sort of think that it's a bit too woo-woo, and it's not scientific, and it doesn't really work, and you're supposed to just sit there and maybe make a vision board with a nice red Ferrari on it, and then when you open the front door, there's going to be one sitting on the drive. It doesn't work like that, does it?
No. It's about, when it's say manifesting stuff, again, that sounds a bit weird, but actually what you're doing is when you see something regularly, then you then notice stuff. When you notice stuff, you then take action around it, or it drives you to do things that maybe you wouldn't have done if you hadn't have made those intentions clear.
Yeah, your reticular activating system.
That's it. It's very powerful.
But I was going to talk today about something that I found called the emotional guidance scale.
Yeah.
Which really helps me with my clients. I use it with clients.
Mm-hmm. Do we bring it on?
Have a look at it? Yeah, have a look at it, and then I can talk you through it. The words might be a little bit small, but let me give you the idea of it. So do you remember? So if you could imagine this part here, can you see? Oh, this part here.
Yeah, you're wiggling above downward spiral. Yeah.
Yeah, is actually attached to this bit here.
Okay.
So really, it's only because if they'd done it on the vertical, it would all be one spiral with wide at the top and wide at the bottom and skinny in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So it's all one thing. So when I talked about a minute ago, going, oh my God, I just feel really low, and and people saying they feel really flat. Flat could actually be here, rather than at the bottom.
Yeah.
So, but if you say I'm feeling really, really low, that means you're down here. And if you're feeling really high, like, energetic, brilliant, you're going to be up here. Mm-hmm. And this is all to do with the vibration that we have going on within us. And I'm sorry, but if people go, oh, that rubbish, I don't believe that, I can actually make you know that it is true, absolutely convince you that it works. Because if you walk into a room, and let's say there's two people in that room, and let's say they've just had an argument, but the argument's finished, you can sense that energy, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody can sense that energy. Yep. Or if you may go to a party and you see somebody and you just think, I don't like them, or wow, they're great, I really want to speak to them. You can just sense an energy. And I mean, let's face it, this is how we attract partners and how we make friends and all this kind of stuff with energies and stuff. We don't always wait to see what people have got to say and how they feel and their political views, etc., before we decide whether we want to get to know them. We do an awful lot of it on energy, even if we don't notice it. Yeah. So this spiral, I think what's really important about this one is because what many people will say is, have you got a friend like this? That you go, oh, I'm feeling really, really low today. And they come on, they go, well, I don't know what you've got to feel low about. I mean, you've got everything you've got everything. You've got a roof over your head. Think about those poor people in the Ukraine right now. You've got everything you can possibly want. Just, get a grip and be happy. Thing is, what you can't do is you can't put a happy sticker over an empty fuel tank, can you?
No, absolutely.
So this is why we look at the emotional guidance scale. So let's say you're feeling down here, right? I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling like really powerless. There's all this stuff's happened to me, and I don't know, I don't know what to do. There's nothing I can do. I'm just completely stuck in this situation. And rather than going, oh, look, for goodness sake, stop worrying about it and get up here, you're going to have to realize that you're going to have to work through the guidance scale. You can't just jump to something. So I might have a conversation with a client that I'll start talking to them and maybe coaching them through it. And they'll say, oh, there's something, I can't do anything about this. It's really awful. I'm completely stuck. This is it. This is what I'm resigned to. And I'm feeling really, really annoyed about it. I'm feeling really sort of down about it. And I will say, well, come on then, talk about how that makes you feel. Well, it makes me feel like I'm just completely useless. I'm not good, and I've messed up. I'm feeling guilty because I've let my children down, etc., or whatever. And it so annoys me because I look at other people and I see that they're doing really well. And why doesn't it happen to me? That they've got everything and I haven't. And it just makes me really, really cross. And I'm just sick to death of everything happening to it. And you know what? That person that did that to me, I'm going to get them. I really am. But I'm going to have to be, just makes me so angry. So do you see what I mean? They're sort of, as they're talking, they're going up the guidance scale. So even if they're standing there screaming and shouting, angry, it's better than if they're feeling depressed and low and,
There's a bit of action around it. I'm trying to do something about it, isn't it? It's not like resigning itself that this is always going to be the case. It's about, well, I'm doing something about it, but it might not be the right thing.
Exactly. And it may not be that you're starting from down the bottom. It might be that you're worried about something. Well, I'm really worried about the state of the world at the moment, and it's all this stuff that's going on in Ukraine is awful, and it's maybe the world isn't going to survive. Maybe we are all going to come to an end. God, I mean, who would have thought? I mean, it's just like incredible. And gosh, isn't it going to be sad that I might not see my children grow up? And then, oh my God, I can't think about this. This is all just getting way too close to home. I'm totally and utterly overwhelmed by it. So do you see, wherever you are, you can start moving. And then if you can make this, boredom is quite. Have you ever had that feeling that I'm bored, but I don't know what to do? I do that. Have you had that? I'm really bored, but I don't want to do anything. That's this part here. And if you can then just literally flip it one tiny little bit, you can, so like, okay, I'm bored, I don't want to do anything. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and weed that tiny bit, that pot. I'm not going to do the garden. I'm going to weed that little pot there, turn the soil over, make sure the bulbs are done for spring, etc. And you come and you go, there. I did that. And there you are. You've gone to number 7. You're at contentment. Doesn't mean to say that you're contented about the whole of your life, but just that one moment that you can then build on.
Yeah, you've made a difference in some way. Yeah, you've made progress, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you've done something that's actually positive.
Yeah. And you can go from there. Now that I've done one pot, who knows? Maybe I can do another one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have all 4 of them done by the end of the afternoon. Wouldn't that be amazing?
It's all about action, isn't it? I like that. I've never come across that before. I definitely revisiting that the emotional guidance scale. That's really useful.
And you can get this. You can just download this off the internet.
Yeah.
I found out about it in there's a book, Abraham Hicks, right, which is very definitely woo-woo because it's about downloading some kind of spiritual guide. But Esther Hicks is a wonderful woman, and I went to see her live actually in Amsterdam in 2019. She was incredible, and she uses this. And there's a book called Ask and It Is Given, and she actually has exercises in that book that will help you change your vibration. Will actually change the state that you're in for the better, obviously. And it's a good book. I can highly recommend it. And I
really good.
I love it.
I think what we need to do, just to go back to where we started, just to recap where we are. So anyone's joined us, we started the conversation talking about energy, and we just shared that emotional guidance scale, because obviously that's linked to our energy, how we feel. So it's a way of getting out of that, maybe that state of not feeling energetic. So how can we inject some energy? There's various ways that we've talked about, laughing. There's music. Fanny told us about the way she was suggested that she go and put some music on, and that's what she did, and she got the energy she wanted. So it's about being aware of your low energy and then what you can do about it. And some of these things are very simple, but sometimes the simple things are really effective. So if you are listening to this, you're catching it on replay, please leave some comments if you've got anything to say about what we're talking about. We always talk about motivation and money, but the link here is about energy. And if you've got any comments about that, then we'd love to hear from you. We do this most weeks about 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, and there are other episodes you can check back on. So, yes.
Well, I was going to say, can I say one way that we can link this to money?
Mm-hmm.
Because something that I find is people want to be motivated by looking after their money,
mm-hmm.
but they're not.
Okay.
And for those people where there's enough money coming in to cover the bills and everything's sort of okay, and actually it's not too much to worry about. I know I'm not having a sleepless night over it because I haven't got debts, as it were, but there's this niggling thing in the back of their mind about going, I really should be investing. I really should be making a better financial plan for the future. We could be saving. I know we're overspending. I know that I'm paying too much. All those little things that are going on in your mind, which can really pull that vibration down, because you should be doing something. You know that it would be the right thing to do because you can make more of your money, and it actually drags that motivation down because it seems like such a big task to do. If it's something that you want to get started with and you want some help to get started, first of all, what I would do is I would maybe do something like a core values exercise, which I know is not really what we're talking about today. But if money is not really in your top 5 list of core values, it's very unlikely that you are going to be motivated to look after your money. However, all is not lost, because if you let's say, for instance, you have something like family that's high on your list of values. I know family for me is at the top of my values. If money wasn't a wealth building or whatever wasn't on my top 5, I would use the family in order to get me motivated to start looking after my money. Because Ren wants to go to university. I mean, that's quite serious cost now for parents, because hey, who thought that basically you just signed up and they just gave the kids loans and it would be fine? No, that doesn't happen at all. I didn't realize that the maintenance loan is like totally means tested on the parents, and you've only got to be earning about £5 a year and they start chopping it off. So motivate it to actually give your family stuff. So I want to make my family happy. So in order to do that, I need money. So have it linking with that. But again, thinking about financially where you are on the emotional guidance scale, because it could be feeling angry, disappointment, overwhelmed, all those kind of emotions. Jealousy comes up a lot with finances, insecurity. So all of those things, think about where you are on that guidance scale and just focus on seeing how you can move up just that one little bit.
Yeah, I show it with the sort of motivational map scale or model. There is a drive to bring money into their more money into their lives, or there might be more of a drive to save money, and obviously there's neither of those two things are bad, but one without the other. If you're creating lots of money but spending too much, then obviously that's not helping. And this all comes back to what you talk about with our attitude to money, which if you didn't catch last time's our last one, when Fanny went through all the money archetypes, I highly recommend you checking that out and seeing where you are on that. But I think with regards to the money, the energy we get from money, and all the energy that we have, it's a combination of things, obviously, and it's how we perceive things. It's how we compare ourselves with others, and especially when we've just seen someone that's just suddenly had a brand new car or something, and you think, oh, I wish I had that. But if you've got to ask yourself the question: have I actually done anything to allow that to happen? Am I taking the right actions? Isn't it? Because these things don't just suddenly happen. You've got to do something to allow them to happen.
You certainly do. However, I'd also add into the mix. What's the phrase now? Don't keep up with the Joneses because the Joneses are broke.
Yeah. You don't know how they finance the car, do you?
No, you don't know how they finance the car. The other thing is that people. We say that money is an energy. It's a tool, but essentially, none of us have problems with money because we know how to use it. The problem that we have is around the energy of exchange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the problem. It's got nothing to do with the actual thing itself. It's the energy behind and the belief systems that we have about the exchange.
Yeah.
And on so many different levels, it's
Absolutely.
such an individual thing.
And that's why, if we talk it into a business context, there are a lot of people that call themselves business coaches, but really they're either very much sales orientated or very marketing orientated, and they are the key things to get right. If you want to have a successful business, you've got to be able to sell, and you've got to be able to attract people to your offer. And the sales and marketing piece is where most people struggle. They've got a product.
However, I don't think that there are enough, and hopefully all of you who aren't like this will complain about this and actually come shout at me, go, I do this, Fanny. But I don't think, as from my experience, that there are enough sales and marketing coaches who actually look at the person holistically to see where their mindset is.
Absolutely. I mean, you can give someone skills. I was brought in to work with one of my clients' sales team because they've been given lots of skills and taught to do things, but what they wanted to know was what actually was driving them to do what they did or didn't do. So the motivational piece was crucial because you can't keep training skills into someone, because if they don't want to do something, or they're never going to use those skills. So the easy thing to do is to go down that skills route and say, we're not getting enough sales. That must mean we need to train our team about some skills, give them more skills around sales. But actually, sometimes it's about the motivation piece, understanding what drives them, so that I'll allow them to be better salespeople by fulfilling their motivations.
I completely agree with you. And we have a lot of times where a lot of salespeople say, look, you just got to think about you're serving somebody, and actually you're being really selfish if you keep your skills, talents, and abilities to yourself, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think we've sort of been there and done that, and I think that helps people on a certain level. But if you are a reluctant leader, or you are setting up as a solopreneur, and it was all very, very easy when you were working for your boss and you were selling their goods under the banner of their title, and then the minute that you saying, oh, this is me now, and you go, oh my God, and a whole new set of freaky doo-doos come out,
Absolutely.
And that's the next part about it, and it's like, it was very interesting actually. I was reading in your book again, so you said, why did you start the business? Why did you start the business? And that was a really interesting question for me, because I actually find the sales and marketing, it doesn't actually light my fire when I initially think about it. And I'm thinking about now selling the places I've got on this course, and I prefer to do it by calling people up who have done a quiz, rather than just shoving a whole load of crap out on social media. Sorry, I shouldn't say crap. A whole load of really directed, fantastic marketing content out
quality
on social
content.
Exactly, quality content. And I sat there, and it was a great question for me to ask this morning, because I was going, so yeah, Fanny, why did you start your business? And genuinely, I started my business because I enjoyed looking after my money. I enjoyed the subject of money, and I wanted to try and make it fun for other people. And that actually helped me change my motivation and my energy state about the calls I've got this afternoon.
Brilliant, absolutely. Sadly, we've just gone past 1:30, so
How
we
does
try
that
to keep these
happen?
to 30 minutes, don't we? Rather than go on all.
How does it happen?
I
How
know,
does it
they
happen?
just
When
fly by, don't they? It's ridiculous. So hopefully those who have tuned in have got something from our conversation around money, motivation, and the energy we get. And if you've got some comments, obviously leave them here. We will hopefully be here again next week about 1:00, if that works for both of us.
Yeah, it might be a little bit later next week, I think, but we'll work
We'll
it
try and
around.
make it as near to 1:00, so it's as consistent as we can be. Again, talking about motivation and money. Check out those two things. Fanny's got your course coming up. We want to mention that again, Fanny.
Yeah, My Money Makeover, 10 weeks, get videos, all the tools to manage your money on a practical level, lots of mindset works with weekly Zoom calls. It's a group program, 350 quid. It's a bargain and it's brilliant. And this is the time now. It's never been a better time to get your money sorted.
Yeah, good stuff. And my How to Stay Energized at Work course is also available from my website. And use LinkedIn as a coupon code and you'll save 25%. Yeah. Anything else to finish off with, Fanny? Let's mention our Evo group that we run every fortnight, because we should do that.
Apollo, which is Thursday morning. Mark and I are the leaders of that group. It's a lovely group, really good, especially when all the tech works. The next meeting we've got is
next Thursday.
Yeah, not tomorrow.
Not 2 days time.
Not 2 days time. Next Thursday at 8 a.m. in the morning. It's a mastermind week, I believe.
Yep.
Although I have a funny feeling actually that we have actually got Fenella Humus coming to speak with us. I think she's coming. I think we're going to swap it for a speaker week next week.
Okay.
But anyway, it's always good fun. And yeah, we have speakers, masterminds, and one-to-ones and all that kind of stuff. And not just about business, it's about business networking without the mask. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, Evo Women takes place on the Wednesday. So not tomorrow, a week on Wednesday. Evo Women, come along and have some fun there as well if you fancy it. That's at lunchtime, starting at 12:30.
There you go. If you want a bit more of us, not me obviously for the women thing, but we do the Thursday morning thing, and Fanny does also her women thing, then come along. It's they're all good value, and you'll go away with a bit of networking and learning and all the other things that might motivate you and give you energy. Just to finish off on the energy note.
And if we're always looking for exciting speakers too.
Yes,
but
indeed.
I say exciting. It's got to be exciting, right?
It has to be exciting, and yes. What our criteria for exciting is, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, we run our little ruler over it and decide. Yeah. Anyway, must wrap things up. Thank you, Fanny. Good to see you again, and see you next week. And thanks, for everyone that's tuned in on live or replay, have a great week, and we see you next time.